Washington Square On Air is the audio town square for the Washington Square Review, Lansing Community College's literary journal. Writers, readers, scholars, publishing professionals, citizens of the world gather here and chat about all things writing. Hey there, this is Melissa Ford Lucken, editor for the Washington Square Review. I'm here today with Brandon Yu, who has an essay in our summer issue that we're really excited about. Hey, Brandon.
Hi, how are you?
Pretty good. Tell us a little bit about your essay. How did you come to write it, and what inspired it?
Well, it was a winter break. I was staying with my parents at an Airbnb in Florida. And, I was getting a bit stir crazy, I guess, staying inside the house all day. So I figured I should go outside and do something. So then naturally, I thought that, I could go somewhere and, try to maybe get back in shape. So I figured I could go to the gym. They had a gym downtown. And unfortunately, it was one of those places where you had to have classes. So I signed up and I had no idea what I was getting into. And then, yeah.
Okay, how did you pick that particular gym?
Well, there was only one. It was a pretty popular place. It was in the plaza, and there was a big sign that said Barry's Gym, and I figured it should be interesting, so I just went in and I signed up.
Okay, had you gone to any other gyms before that one?
I have in my school on campus. Those were just regular places. You didn't have to sign up for classes. You could just do everything at your own pace. But up until then, I've never taken an actual a gym class before with other people.
Your essay is pretty humorous, so
yes.
I think that's one of the things that appealed to the readers was the humor in it. A lot of people have gone to the gym. I think we've all had those experiences, as you described, where it is not at all what you were expecting. So tell us a little bit about what was going on in your mind at the time that you were at the gym. Like, did you think you were going to write about it later? I guess that's what I really want to know.
The whole gym thing was a very unique and unpleasant experience. And, I guess I was a bit too focused on trying to get out of there to think about writing, but definitely as soon as I came home, I thought that, it would be pretty interesting to write about it because I don't know, it was just a very strange experience, I think. Very intense.
For those who have not yet read the essay, tell us a little summary about it.
Well, basically, so like I said before, I went to this new gym. I signed up for a gym class, and it was I had no idea. I had no idea what I was getting into. It was they put me in a very dark room. They had they used red lights, so it was very dim. I'm not sure why that is, but that was just the way it was. And they had a bunch of treadmills on one side and step platforms on the other. And, basically there was our gym instructor, and she basically just kind of, marshaled us to do this and do that. And, there was, yeah.
I love that in the essay, the way you describe the intense feel of it with the colors and just, It sounds really cramped and everyone is super intense. And the way you describe it, like you were the only person who's like, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
The music was really loud. And right before we started recording, I was telling you that I've been to some workout sessions where the music is really loud. It's disorienting. It makes it hard to think. And I think that's probably what they're after, because the way you described it in the essay was do this, do that, do this, do that. And it's all you can do to keep up, really. Mm-hmm. It's very intense. I think everyone wants to know, did you go back?
No, I never did. Yeah, I'm not going back there again.
Did you switch to a different kind of working out?
I went to a different gym where you could work at your own pace. I think those are a lot nicer for me because I like to take my time, and I'm not really a cardio person, so I can't really keep up with everyone else. So that was
everyone's got their own thing that appeals. So let's look back to the writing. At the time, obviously, you weren't thinking, I'm going to write an essay about this. You got home and then you started writing. How did that feel to write it?
Well, it was fun. It was just a page. So, I could, the details are pretty much all there. So I didn't have to make anything up. It's an essay. And I just wrote it down, and, it was well, it was nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you write it in one sitting then, pretty much?
It took me two days. Yeah, a few hours, but yeah.
So you sent me some information earlier, and so I know that you're in school for cybersecurity, which is quite different from what we're talking about. And that makes me wonder, do you do writing for that program? Like how does the creative writing come to you? Like how does that?
I mean, like these are just two different like pursuits. Like I know they're pretty different, but you know, I enjoy doing both things. You know, like writing appeals to my creative side, and you know, I love to read books in my free time for fun. So you know, that just makes me it scratches an itch. You know. Of course, cybersecurity is basically what my parents do, so naturally I would do the same thing, and it's also a good way to make a living. But as for like how writing plays into like cybersecurity, I mean, besides you know passing a few classes, I think that these are just two completely different pursuits. So yeah.
They do seem very different. I think writing has analysis in it. Tell us a little bit about cybersecurity. How does that work? What do you study?
Well, currently, I mean, I'm thinking about going into a networking. Basically, it's like when you send an email, how do you make sure that it arrives on the other end, basically untampered with, that it's, basically complete, safe, and that maybe no one decided to change the message en route to the recipient or whatever. And, it's really interesting to kind of know like exactly how you can keep a network safe and make sure that everybody can talk to each other in a very regulated manner.
So it sounds like there is some analysis in it, as there would be in creative writing, because with writing, obviously, you have to kind of analyze the situation and figure out what you're going to highlight and what you're going to downplay. And so it sounds like that would also be part of, because I'm trying to think to myself, well, what's the personality part that for you is matched in both places, but it's expressed differently? Because as you say, they do seem very different.
Yeah. I mean, cybersecurity uses a lot of soft logic. I mean, like you still learn to use lots of like technical tools on the computer to basically get things done. But there is a lot of reading too, which I do enjoy. And lots of times it's like the stuff you do in cybersecurity is a lot more holistic than you would imagine. It's not exactly like a math problem where you just go from A to B to C. Sometimes you just kind of just try to figure out what's wrong, and then it's more of it's like a puzzle, so it's a bit different than.
Can you give us an example of one of these puzzles you've dealt with?
Well, so far, besides my classes, I haven't had any real experience with cybersecurity. But
is there something in class that stands out that they had you work through?
Oh yeah, well, we. I can't think of anything right now, but if I think of anything, I'll tell you.
All right. Okay. Anything that your parents ever talk about? An example that you could offer?
I mean, I mean, their jobs, I guess. I mean, for example, my dad works as a database administrator, so he basically he's in charge of a large database for a company. So basically, all of the, let's say, company information, employee data, and all that, he's in charge of making sure that nothing goes awry. Nothing like if something bad happens, he can fix it, I guess.
So it's a little bit like looking into the future and asking what problems might happen and trying to prevent them before they happen.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have any thoughts about AI? I know that's not exactly cybersecurity, but it kind of is with the deep fakes and that kind of thing.
AI. Well, I mean, you have to be more specific. I mean, AI is a pretty big thing.
It is a big thing. What does it mean to you when you think about it?
Well, I guess lots of people these days, especially in my school, are talking about, since I'm in the School of Engineering, so lots of them are concerned about, their jobs. I guess AI still has a long way to go when it comes to like actually replacing people on the job. As for art, I think that, that's a pretty, they really have a long way to go. But for more technical pursuits, like let's say computer science or IT, it can definitely help, but AI still it's like a supplement. It can't do your job for you. So, yeah.
Have you tried using AI yourself for anything?
Of course. I mean, I use it to like solve a lot of problems in my homework for cybersecurity. I use it to program things because it can do that really well, actually. But I don't use that to write because I like to do it myself.
Yeah, I agree. I've used it for, um, generating ideas, generating lists and that kind of thing. I think when it comes to creative writing, the process of going through it yourself is because when we were first talking, you were talking about how it kind of fills a niche in your life. And so it makes sense that if you use AI to do the creative work, then you don't get that creative fix.
Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. What other kind of writing have you done?
Well, I used to write short stories. I started writing back in basically, I guess, my first year of college. When I started college, I started to write seriously. Of course, I never really got published until like a couple of years later. So that took a long time. I've tried writing short stories. It's not really my forte. Because the thing with short stories is that you have to, you obviously have to make up a lot of stuff, and it's sometimes never clear when you are going to finish or if you're going to finish it at all. But with an essay, it's pretty straightforward because the thing already happened, so you know exactly how it went down, and you have basically a pretty clear idea of what you want to write about and what you want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What kind of short story reading or novel reading do you do that inspires you?
Oh yeah, sorry, but quite a bit actually. I read pretty much everything I can get my hands on, but mostly just Stephen King and Kurt Vonnegut. I guess those are my two favorite writers.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do you, when you're thinking about writing and reading, what's your writerly or reading community like? Who do you talk to? And
I just talk to my. I mean, I don't really. I just read by myself. Not a lot of people who. Usually readers are pretty introverted, I guess. So that's kind of the nature of the hobby. So
yeah,
I guess it's not really an activity where I can go around and meet people who read the same things I do.
Yeah. What about book talk? You ever go on TikTok and get book recommendations or anything?
Oh no. I mean, no. I use Goodreads, but that's as far as it goes.
Yeah. Goodreads is a good source. You can make a good list. One of the reasons why I was asking the questions, because I was thinking about this kind of two worlds that you live in. And at school, are there any other creative writers in your program or that you're friends with?
Well, there is a club, and I'm sure there are quite a few, but I've never met them. I've never been to one of their meetings or anything. I haven't taken a class before in creative writing, so I'm on my own right now.
Okay, all right. Well, so far you're doing great on your own.
Thanks.
What do you plan to do with the rest of your summer?
Well, I currently have 4 classes, so it's a real busy. Mostly it's just a way to, I guess, pass the time in a productive way. I got accounting, which is always useful. It's not very fun, but it's a good way to kill time. And then there is communications for engineers. That's my only writing course, but it's just something I have to check off the list. And then there is hands-on cybersecurity and principles of information security.
All right. And is the semester the full summer?
It's the first 2 months, so it should end in August.
Okay. And so will you get a week or two off before you have to start again in the fall?
Yeah, I will. I think I'll just decompress.
After all of that, I would think that you would need it with a couple good books for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Well, it's been great talking to you and hearing about your two worlds. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you too.
Thanks for stopping by the Audio Town Square of the Washington Square Review. Until next time, this has been the Washington Square On Air from Lansing Community College. To find out more about our writers community and literary journal, visit lcc.edu/WSR. Writing is messy, but do it anyway.